now. He's always ready, like a ninja. He's always like, I got my finger on the record button, motherfucker.
That's pretty much turned into the intro of the show. Is, are you recording?
Are you recording me? Yeah. Firstly, to the listeners, welcome to episode 33 of Thors-Kin podcast. We're bringing you a Garmy special today, and we've got a Garmy hero with us as well, in Mike Sargent. So thank you very, very much for joining us, Mike.
Thank you for having me, man. I'm glad to be here.
I just want to explain that if you're not too keen or not too sure on what the Garmy is, we're going to explain that in full in the next sort of 20 minutes, half an hour. But Mike, tell everyone a bit about yourself, where you're from, and you know what the Garmy means to you, etc.
Well, my name is Mike Sargent. I'm 40 years old. I'm from Oklahoma in the United States, which is about a stone's throw away from Texas, which is about a stone's throw away from Mexico. I've got 2 cats. I've got 2 dogs. I like long walks on the beach, which is pretty hard to do because I'm landlocked. And I like to fuck around with people and like to fuck with people. So I'm an all-around family entertainer.
You're perfect for Thorskin then, because that's all we do.
Yeah, I was just about to say, look, do you want a full-time panel sort of application? Like, you've literally just hit all the prerequisites on your CV there.
Welcome to Thorskin. Okay, so quickly, I'm going to explain what the Garmy is. A lot of you guys that are listening, if you're new to the show and part of the Garmy, this is going to be like teaching your granny to suck eggs, or whatever the saying goes. But we enjoy a show called Hollywood Babble-On. That's right, Hollywood Babble-On with Ralph Garman and Kevin Smith. And Mike here had this genius idea of creating a Facebook group and bringing all the fans that love that one same thing together. And I want to thank you for that, by the way.
Well, here's a first for your podcast. Here is a first, is that I did not create the Garmy. I was one of the first to enter into the Garmy, and at the time it was an open face page, so anybody that wanted to join in could join in. And then a few months later, I got put into the position of an admin because I just pretty much hung out. I just hung out almost 24/7 there. And so they put me, the guy who put me into an admin, he's no longer even in the Garmy because the guy who created the Garmy wound up leaving.
Traitor.
I was going to say, we have an imposter in our midst.
No, he just wound up leaving. And I wound up, in the end, I wound up inheriting the Garmy. And I cared so much about it that I just wound up kind of turning into the governor.
And you do a great job too. You do a great job too. Let me explain. Like, if you don't listen to Hollywood Babble-On, the show is quite full on, and Ralph Garman does not give a fuck. He doesn't care, does he? He goes all in on Justin Bieber, Taylor Swift, Miley Cyrus, the llama tooth bitch. Llama tooth bitch. And so this show is hugely popular, and because of that humor, it's created quite, I wouldn't say we're not volatile because we're quite nice people, but you get the odd person that takes it a little bit too far, and we've seen it quite a bit on the Garmy. And Mike is like our sheriff of the town. He's always come in and quite sensibly saw out a lot of the drama and some of the kind of, some people put political posts on there and it starts huge arguments and things like that. And you're really, really good at kind of sensibly sorting that out. So, you do a good job. And I think
I appreciate that. I do my very best. I'm not always perfect, but I do the very best that I can. And, we're 7,000 people strong. And I would say like about 5,000 of us are more than active, and then the other 2,000 are kind of camping, and we'll get that fixed up sometime in the future. But for right now, man, I think it's a great group.
See, when Alex says things about like you acting as you are the sheriff, all I've got in my head is Rick from Walking Dead on like a forum going around going a ham on a political poster. We don't take any chances anymore.
Just murdering motherfuckers.
Yeah, exactly.
I would put myself. I like to put myself as more of a Norman Reedus. like I'm going to eradicate this shit right now.
You got the accent for it. By the way, I fucking love your voice. By the way, I've got a frog on my finger.
Oh, thank you very much.
Yeah, I love you.
Man. The Oklahoma accent is one to. Well, I mean, it's not one worth bragging about, but
it's better than a Birmingham
accent. It's one of those
accent,
where
anyway.
it's like, oh yeah, it certainly beats Alabama. I'll tell you that. It's like, well, how can I help you? Welcome to Oklahoma.
I love the American accents; they're so good. But like in the UK, we've got so many accents in such a small space. So you can imagine like America, that's like massive in comparison, like the types of accents you get. It's a running joke between us and the admins that we kind of get a little bit hard over your voice. So excuse me for us, drooling a bit while we're doing the show. So the Garmy,
that's cool.
The Garmy as a group of people, I started listening to Hollywood Babble-On about it'll be 3 years in about June. I started listening, and I decided to do the round the world trip. I decided to listen from the beginning and right the way through. And you don't get to hear the strength of the Garmy and what it means to people until I think you get to their first readout. I think was at a Comic-Con, and they did the comic book reading. And you've got like the normal Comic-Con goers like sort of in the crowd, and then all you can hear from the corner of the room is Garmy, Garmy, Garmy. All these people going absolutely nuts, and they're trying to calm them down, and they're all like they're drunk and they're having such a good time, and that's what it's all about, isn't it?
I mean, that's the way that it goes. I mean, it's frenzied up, almost in a cult-like status when you think about it. And I mean, if all I can say is thank God that's not my doing.
Well, so Ralph Garman worked at K-Rock radio station, and
right.
Recently, a couple of months ago, he got shit canned in the most ruthless way possible.
That was crazy.
It was crazy. He turned it was pretty much like he'd said, "Oh, by the way, this is my last show," but he'd known for a week, and so had his co-hosts. It was really ruthless how they did it, and the Garmy went fucking nuts, didn't they?
Oh yeah, they went ape shit, and I think justifiably so. Because it's not about, I mean, if you're going to shit can somebody, that's fine. If you're going to fire somebody, that's okay. No matter how long that they've worked, that's all right. But at least give them the decency. At least give them when like somebody like Ralph, who has been there for 18 years at that time, the very least that you can do is give them the decency and give them the respect that they deserve by saying, hey, we've come to this kind of conclusion that Mr. Garman is not going to, he will no longer be with us, and we want him to go out with a bang, and we want him to serve his last few days with the decency and respect that he absolutely deserves.
That's right. Yeah.
They did not give him that whatsoever. It was more of like, hey, you're going to have to stay quiet about this. You're going to have to we're going to have to keep you shut up about it. And when it comes time for you to go away, we're not going to give you that. We need you to go off with kind of a silent feather more than go off with a loud bang.
It wasn't treated fairly at all, and like with that comes like not just 7,000, because a lot of Hollywood Babble-On fans, Garmites, they're not on the group as well. Some aren't, but they still went in on K-Rock on Twitter. The hate it created, and it was horrible to see, but good at the same time, because these are people idolize Ralph. He's such a great comic. He really is. And look, do you know what? If you're listening to this and you've never listened to Hollywood Babble-On, and they're like, you're thinking, what the fuck are these guys going on about? I'm outie. Just wait around, right? Because we're not going to be talking about this forever. But also, give it a listen, because Hollywood Babble-On is great. I mean, like, when I first started listening to Hollywood Babble-On, I was quite a lonely guy, and I was working a job on my own through the night, and I just didn't know what to do with myself. So I started listening to Hollywood Babble-On, and I felt at home. I felt like the humor was right for me, and it was a perfect mix of Ralph does comical voices. He does Arnold Schwarzenegger, Sylvester Stallone, all these voices, and they are fantastic. And you got Kev Smith, if you like Kev Smith as well, and it's perfect. And you should give it a go. You can get it on Smod app. You can get it on SoundCloud. You can get it on everywhere, to be honest. What's it called? Podcast Addict. I should know all these. We'll do a fucking podcast. So, yeah, give it a go. I mean, if it's not for you, it's not for you. But I know a lot of people really like it. So, welcome to...
Absolutely. And I mean, you really hit the nail on the head. It's really turned into kind of a very good community. I like to try and tell people that, we're a family, but we're a dysfunctional family. But for some reason, we find a way to fucking function, and that's the best way to describe it to me.
Oh, you're such a fucking wordsmith, man. Your words are like silk. They're amazing. That's a great way of putting it, because we're all just as fucked up as one another. And I've made, through podcasting, but mainly through the Garmy, I've made some amazing friends like you, like Eric, like Nicole, like a lot of people. I've had some real good, like, jokes and laughs, conversations with people. And, I felt like part of a community, and that's what it's all about, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely, and that's the way that I feel. Like through the Garmy, I've begun making really good friends. People such as Stephen Phillips and Nicole Bogda, yourself, my friend.
Yeah.
And I mean, just all these people that have come together. Like I said, we are a community and we're a family. And we're a dysfunctional family, but for some reason we find a way to function, and that's the best way for us to describe ourselves, because we can get together and we can talk to each other through all of our good deeds and all of our mishaps and all of our stuff like that, and that's, I mean,
it's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, exactly. It's not perfect, but I wouldn't settle for anything less.
And you've got someone like Kevin Smith as well, who always encourages the small guy to stand up and have his voice. And you know what he's done for, I mean, Eric Fluger. Okay, you've seen the post I put up a while ago when Kev had his heart attack. People that are Thors-Kin fans, and that painting of Kev Smith as a Funko was painted by Eric. Now, what Eric does is he creates a lot of the artwork for Hollywood Babble-On, doesn't he? He's amazing artwork. But
that's correct.
And Eric and Kev Smith got in touch with one another, and Eric had this great idea. I don't want to talk about it too much, but basically Kevin encouraged him to go forward with his ideas and make these paintings and to make something. And they bought some of his paintings and hung them up in their house. Imagine that. Imagine having like a painting bought off you from the person you made it for. The person you're a fan of. And this is what they encourage. They encourage people to go out there and be original and to be yourselves and to sell what you've got. And a lot of podcasters are really encouraged by people like Kev Smith and Ralph Garman.
I love it. I became friends with Eric maybe about 6 months ago, something like that. 6 months to maybe about a year ago, and I just fell in love with his personality, and him and his wife have been very, very beautiful to me, and very welcoming. And I cannot. And I actually have a personal project that I will have him doing very soon to involve myself and my brother and my mom. That she can hang up for Christmas gift. I'm giving Guy a beautiful person inside and out. I can't say enough about him. If he was gay, I would anally fuck him. and I guess I'd have to be gay too, but you know.
I guess for that one occasion it wouldn't hurt. Well, it might do.
Yeah, exactly. You know, he's my free pass if I go any port in the store.
And for you listeners out there, we are planning to have Eric on the show very soon. He's got an amazing story as well. So I
might anally fuck him then. You want to get listeners over on your show. It's just to have some dude like, no, not that way.
And
well, it's like the first ever episode of Black Mirror with the pig. Just like the whole country tuning in. Just like, this is what's going to happen, is it? Just like, I don't want to watch this, but I can't help it.
It's rigid like a pack of packing peanuts. Oh my God.
Stop making me laugh and killing me.
Oh my God, that'd be fantastic.
So
you mentioned Black Mirror, the fucking first episode where the prime minister's gonna fuck that pig. Holy shit! And I'm thinking the whole time. It's like, well, that's what got me to watch it.
Yeah.
Well, we've all seen Clerks too.
Oh man, I think the pig thing was much worse than the donkey party.
Yeah. The fact I had to do it on TV. It was. I love Black Mirror. I keep putting this frog. My little boy's left a finger puppet on my desk, and I keep putting this fucking thing on my finger like an idiot. I'm gonna throw it over there. Okay, I wanted to reach out to you as well, Mike.
You're thinking about the pig episode too, apparently.
Of into frog bestiality. I wanted to reach out to you and say thank you because you. I mean, obviously, I've been a part of the Garmy for only 3 years. It's been going for a long time now, and you reached out and you made me an admin, which was really nice, and which means that I got to get properly involved. The Garmy is like, as a Facebook page, people are like, oh, it's a fucking Facebook page. It's a huge operation to keep it tame and to keep it, running, like you said, like smoothly, like this dysfunctional family that runs perfectly. And it takes a lot of work. There's a few of us admins, and we're in a group chat together, and we have such an amazing friendship across the fucking world, And thanks for reaching out and, giving that to me because it means a lot,
Oh, absolutely, man. I wouldn't have. I mean, the 6 of you that I put on over as admins, I chose you folks for a certain reason, and it wasn't just because of friendship. It was also because I knew that I was going to pick the people that could do the job well, and you guys have not just met my expectations. You have exceeded them through more levels than I can really even try and explain to you. You guys have done a stellar job, and you have no idea the headache and the burden that you have lifted off my shoulders because of the work that you guys do. You've done a great job, and I cannot thank you enough.
Okay. Let me give everyone a shout out as well from the Garmy admin. So we've got me, of course, Eric, John
Give
Fluger.
yourself a shout out, Alex.
I'm going to give myself a pat on the back. Well done, Al. Eric John Fluger, Mr. Fluger, Mike Terrell, Mike Sargent, Nicole Bogda, and Tom Bruno. You guys all do a great job. And I won't have anyone saying no shit about you boys, okay? And Gail.
They've done all an exceptional job. I mean, more than exceptional. Tom Bruno, Nicole Bogda, yourself, of course, Eric and Michael, and Marquise. You guys, I cannot tell you how much of a joy it has been celebrating your friendship and then working with you guys together. You have no idea how much you all mean to me. And I mean that from the very heart.
Thank you. We really appreciate that. And we'll live on and prosper, and I'll get Jimmy in there as well.
Yeah.
Get Jimmy up to date on it.
Yeah, I have a thing with, like, on Facebook, I've got about like 25 different groups that I actually need to join, but I hate using Facebook. So I'm just like, I will click on it all, but I just need to physically motivate myself to get onto Facebook. My experience with Facebook goes from logging in to go into like hour 1 to post a video to logging out.
So looking at all the bullshit I talk about.
Yeah, basically. But no, you are right. I mean, like, with all of this, like, it doesn't matter what it is that you're into, whether, you know, what your passion is, whether it's watching fucking cooking shows, it really does not matter. If you can find yourself a group of people that doesn't, like, edge towards the cult kind of thing, I'm using that word because you used it earlier, when things get closed off, it can quickly go down a rabbit hole. If you've got decent people like yourselves monitoring everything and making sure it's kept like a positive thing, then there isn't anything better than, you know, finding a community for something that you love and everyone shares that same passion for. So yeah, I'm definitely going to be getting on that and showing my face in there pretty soon.
And we'd love to have you, man. I'd like talk to you just as it is, you know. So, I mean, Eric may wind up getting my sloppy seconds. You may be the first one that I go.
And you know what, Jimmy, that's a perfect point, and you've actually just like touched. I really wanted to say this, and I forgot. So thanks, but I want to say to people, like, embrace what you love, okay? It doesn't matter if you're into fucking, like you said, trains, baking, knitting, like gay sex. If you're gay and you like gay sex, embrace it, man. Don't be scared of what you love, okay? Just embrace it. And, like, you've got things like Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, things where you can talk to people about the things you love. And you know what? Like, it will help. It will help if you've got depression, if you're feeling down, if you're feeling lonely. If you've got someone to connect with about the thing that you love, whether it's podcasting, whatever other fucking example I've given, do it, because it makes you feel so much better. It really does. You're part of something then. So don't
absolutely, you hit the nail on the head.
Right. Okay.
That's exactly the way that it should be. You know, and you know, the internet's not all cat and kitten videos and porn. Although sometimes it should be.
Just not together. Just not together.
Well, you never know. You know, any cat in a storm.
Okay.
Oh, Fluffy knows how to gape.
Kitten gay porn.
Kitten gaping.
Oh, okay. On with the show. Right. Oh, well, now we've got that out of the way and we stop gushing over each other. We quickly need to just we quickly need to just wrap up last week's superhero bar fights, the masturbated finals we had for third place and the final. I just want to talk about the polls, and we tried to get the polls the opposite of what they should be. And if you listened to superhero bar fight, you'll know the results. But for third place, we had Sonic and the Flash versus Aquaman and SpongeBob. Who would you have to win that? It's Mike. Sonic and the Flash.
I would have to go with Sonic and the Flash, man. I mean, I know that there's this kind of stigmatism with Aquaman and SpongeBob, but I just see Sonic and the Flash. I see them doing a hell of a lot more than what Aquaman and SpongeBob's going to do. SpongeBob is a useless fucking character.
Oh, he hasn't been.
He is absolutely fucking useless. He doesn't do. I would take his fucking friend
Patrick
over fucking. Yeah, I would take Patrick. I would take the goddamn starfish over fucking SpongeBob, because SpongeBob is a useless. Like, I can even take Aquaman on his goddamn seahorse, like back in the 70s and 80s. I would take that over the fucking over SpongeBob. But if you're putting the Flash and if you're putting Sonic together, I mean, the Flash, hands down, he's got to be. He's the fucking breadwinner, man. Winner, chicken dinner. You gotta give it
The Flash was the first one to get it.
We had to take Flash out of it because we realised how heavily one-sided it would have been. So we completely just annihilated the Flash just for the fuck of it.
In quite a genius way, I may add. We did. And the polls.
How'd you take him out? Come on.
We had what was it? Aquaman running away from Flash, and they were in Sonic World, and they ended up in the underwater level. And Flash was moving from bubble to catch up with Aquaman. And then a shark just come and BAM! Took him out in the most violent way possible. A real shark in Sonic World. It was just ridiculous.
Okay, well, even still, Sonic still fucking wins.
Yeah, and he did.
Sonic doesn't need the Flash to fucking win.
He did it single-handedly again. Sonic did it single-handedly, and we had it so that SpongeBob had fallen to his death whilst hitting numerous amounts of bumpers on his way down, and then we had Aquaman turning up after taking on Flash. Sonic had jumped onto one of his star boxes and charged up his spine and just went boing, straight for Aquaman. It was amazing. This is just an insert.
Sonic runs on water.
Yeah, that's a good point. What did the polls say?
Sonic can run on water.
Yeah, that's it. The polls were 74% Sonic and the Flash, 26% Aquaman.
So we got it right, but we aimed to get everything completely opposite to popular opinion, so we failed there.
And then we had the final, which was Rick Sanchez and Doctor Strange versus Pikachu and Thor. The polls on that said 78% for Doctor Strange and Rick, 22% for Thor and Pikachu. We got that one wrong.
I would agree with that. I would say that Thor and Rick would certainly, because Rick knows how to annihilate the universe.
Do you know what we had Rick Sanchez losing his temper after getting a zap off Pikachu, and he came through a portal and just killed everyone, including Doctor Strange, and then went home and grabbed a beer. That's how we had that ending. So. That was quite fun.
That's a good conclusion.
We like that. So,
that's the way he would want to go out when you think about it.
And in a week or two, we're going to be bringing a new tournament to you. We haven't got a new name for it yet, but we're going to be doing comic book heroes on one side of the ladder versus video game heroes on the other. And then they're going to fight each other. And then in the final, you're going to have the ultimate video game champion versus the ultimate comic book champion in the final. So that's going to be interesting.
Yeah.
So what you guys been up to this week? Have you been up to much at all?
I'm planning up over on a trip. I'm actually taking a road trip to visit about 7 to 8 friends in 5 or 6 different states. One of them being Nicole Bogda, who you've mentioned before as one of our admins. My whole goal is to try and get a chance to meet everybody that's in the admin group. So that means that you can't keep an ocean away from me.
Well, I hope you're good at flying because you come to see me in the UK then.
I can come by over in the UK. I'm just saying you can't keep the Pacific or the Atlantic safe. You can't keep that as like a border anymore. Like I've got a passport now, and they said that I'm safe to fly. So
yeah, come see us. You're more than welcome in my house. I'll welcome you with open arms.
Oh well, you say that now until you get fisted. And, they always say that before dating. So.
I fell.
That was so casual.
I love you, Mike. I love you. Oh God,
death, sir, and I hope that I get a chance to see you face to face very, very soon.
Yeah,
you and your lovely wife. You've got a beautiful wife. And,
I love my wife. Yeah, she's a pain in the ass, but I love her.
Oh yeah, she's the pain in the ass. Not you.
Not me. Never.
Yeah.
Ever.
Yeah. Take it from me. Al's definitely the pain in the ass.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure you're the one that's being tolerated in that situation.
Yeah. I think I said to Tom Bruno yesterday. I said she's Colombian, so she's a fiery as fuck pain in the ass, but I love her.
I think the fact that she's Colombian should be the reason for you to be understanding and to say you're right, I'm wrong.
Yeah, I think I need to learn that one. That's for sure.
I'm sorry, honey. I'll learn to fuck myself now.
What about you, Jimmy? You been up to much this week? What have you been doing?
I've had a busy week, but I've been catching as much sort of like bits of news as I can. With the main thing, you know what?
You're gonna say it again. You're gonna say it again, aren't you?
What?
Sea of Thieves. Yeah?
No. The main thing. Okay, there was a period of my life where the only bit of media, the only like device, game, film, franchise, all of that wrapped into one product. The only thing that there was in my life was Jurassic Park Operation Genesis for a good few months. Right? I was
waiting for something actually.
Oh no.
Jurassic Park Genesis.
Yeah. So when I see the trailer for Jurassic World Evolution come up, and it doesn't look like a shitty, like really bad graphics, like RTS, I was just like, oh my god! So I had.
That's what Jimmy was doing.
I was like watching through a zoo, watching the what are the capuchins like just.
What the fuck was that?
That's hilarious. So yeah, when I watched, I had to take a few days out just to gather my thoughts back up when after I saw that. Playing some Sea of Thieves, just to put that out there.
Sea of Thieves. Yeah, I'm going to get Game Pass next month, so I'll join you on that.
Yeah, man, it's definitely worth putting $7.99 into a month of Game Pass. Seeing if you like it. If you don't, you don't. It's every game's not for everyone, so I guarantee you won't like it because I know you. But and a bit of Street Fighter as well, because that's had like a massive update.
Hadouken! Is that the right game?
Yeah. They've had like an arcade.
No, sure you can.
Not sure you can.
They've had like an arcade update.
Sure you can.
So that game's like looking really clean and crisp now. So I've been getting a bit of that done. Not much else apart from that. I've been watching loads of Black Mirror. The reference to the first episode was coincidental earlier. I'm like, it's a bit away through season 3 now since Netflix took it over. That show's just like more and more of a mindfuck each episode, man.
Look at that.
What?
Have you watched all Black Mirror?
Not all of it. What's that?
Season 3 and 4?
I think I'm either 1 or 2 episodes into season 3, I think. The last one, in fact, I don't know whether it was only the first one that I've seen in season 3. So I started from the beginning because I didn't like over here.
Right.
Our TV is interesting in that for the longest time, American TV sucked dick, and BBC was the best thing, the best picture quality you could get. And then a funny thing happened when Blockbuster went tits up and Netflix started getting all the money, that American TV started taking giant turds all over British TV. And Black Mirror occurred in that transition period where British TV was still okay. So I was like, I want to give it a go. I want to see what Channel 4, like K wasn't BBC, but I want to see what Channel 4 could do. And I really, really enjoyed them. But the difference in quality, just picture quality alone, was like staggering. Going from like all of a sudden, you've got people who are appearing on like British comedy panels, like in the shows that are like just trying out as actors, and then episode 1, Netflix takes over. Fucking chick from Jurassic Park. All right, okay, we're at that level, are we now? It's just like,
yeah, right. I forgot that she was on that. I forgot she was on that very first episode. She was on that first episode of season 3, which
the one with social media.
Yeah, that's what it was. Like, how many likes can you get?
So, like, I went a bit quiet then and a bit gushy because Ralph Garman has just retweeted my video advertising the show. How fantastic is that? So, like, Ralph Garman is on board with what we're doing right here. So, I'm really happy. Right. Okay. So this week, I went to watch Peter Rabbit.
And you laughed at me for Jurassic fucking
I
Park.
have not gotten to see that. I have not gotten to see that yet, but I really want to see it. But I've heard so much weird backlash about it.
Yeah, a lot of people are really upset.
And it's like, it's a fucking cartoon, you dipshits. I mean,
Let me get the Mets.
how are you going to get enraged over a fucking cartoon? Are you that goddamn stupid?
I think the backlash is because the original books and cartoons, the very early things, they were very delicate stories that were written and illustrated in such a beautiful way. It was designed to soothe a child to sleep. You know, they were very delicate. You know, and so what they've done is they've modernized it and they've turned it into almost a more like a Bugs Bunny type thing. You know, where Peter Rabbit's this mischievous guy that steals vegetables from Mr. McGregor's garden.
What, so Conor McGregor?
Conor McGregor. Get off me potatoes.
Put me fucking potatoes back. You won't take my potatoes. You'll do nothing.
Potatoes. They're nothing but a bunch of wankers.
You'll have your potatoes. And so, like, because it's nothing like the original, people are kicking off. And I just think sometimes you need to make that leap. I don't listen to reviews. I do make reviews. I do a show about fucking movie reviews and stuff. But you should never listen to them, because I went with my little boy who's 3 years old, and it's designed for him. It's not designed for me. There's a few tongue-in-cheek jokes in there, which only the adults would get, but it's designed for him, and he laughed his way all the way through that movie, and he's never sat for a movie at the pictures before, so it was brilliant. I really enjoyed it. You know, James Corden doesn't deserve the shit he's getting for it, because at least he's putting his foot out there and he's trying to do something. You know, some people don't.
You know, I didn't even know James Corden was in it. I was just kind of mad that people were giving it so much shit, and it's like I said, you know, it's just a cartoon.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not made for. And Alex, you put it perfectly. It's made for your kid. It's not made for the adult, and that's the way that I look. That's kind of how I see about when it comes to people shitting on the new Star Wars films. It's like, it's not necessarily made for you. It's made for the next generation.
That's a very good point that I've never thought of.
The generation that I'm in, I mean, I'm 40 years old, you know, and the generation that I'm in, those Star Wars movies were made for me. The episodes 4, 5, and 6, when the prequels came out, those were made for the generation after me. And these new movies that are coming out, those are made for the generation, for the generation coming after them. And when you hear people saying, "Oh, well, George Lucas, he fucking ruined my childhood," it's like, no, your childhood is fucking over, sir.
Yeah.
Your childhood is fucking done. You are 30 years old.
If you
don't get to fucking worry about your childhood.
If they had a scene where the Millennium Falcon and fucking Chewie and Han Solo are just like, "Oh shit, the utility bills have just come in," it's just like, oh really? Thanks for making it for my generation. It wouldn't go. I've never thought of it that way before.
I'm not gaining any equity from the fucking Falcon.
We've got to remortgage this thing, Chewie. Punch it.
That would be awesome. We got to remortgage this thing, Chewie. Punch it. and that's like I can go to 6.7% equity, you know, in 7 parsecs. If I could just fucking. If I could just get a new financing manager, then
he can do the shopping run in 7.6 parsecs.
Exactly.
And Jimmy for the win. And you know what? The cast for this movie was fucking fantastic as well, and I feel so sorry for him. It was weird seeing General. It's funny you mentioned Star Wars, because you had General Hux, Donald Gleason. he was the bad guy in it. It was protecting his garden. So it was a bit like Home Alone type slapstick humor, him chasing a rabbit around and stuff like that, trying to blow him up with little sticks of dynamite and stuff. So it was a bit weird seeing that. And that guy as well, he's ginger as fuck and he dyes his hair to hide it. I think you just need to fucking go with the flow, buddy. Because you can when someone ginger tries to dye their hair and you just see the ginger roots. It's just like, come on, buddy, embrace yourself, And then you had...
I didn't know that he had dyed his hair. That kind of makes me upset right then and there. Fuck this fucking rabbit. Because I'm fucking redheads. I'm a fucking copper top, goddammit, Fucking represent your race, motherfucker.
At least you've got fucking hair. Look at me, man. I'm streamlined. And then you had Sam Neill playing the old Mr. McGregor, Margot Robbie. You had Daisy Ridley was Cottontail, and Rose Byrne out of I think she was in Bad Neighbors as well. She was in it. So they had a great cast. I really enjoyed it. So people stop hating so much, man. Just sit back and realize that it's not for you, like Mike said. Fucking idiots.
Do you know what? Every time we actually go to review something or give our opinions, we never keep it professional where we're like, this is our opinion. If you don't like it, you're welcome to disagree. We're always just like, this is how I feel. If you disagree, you're fucking wrong, you wankers.
You know what? And I think that's something that's seriously lacking when it comes to, at least here in the States, that's something that's seriously lacking here for when it comes to movie reviews. Movie reviews here is like, well, they gave it 4 stars out of 5, or we gave it 2 thumbs up. They ought to be like, yeah, this is a piece of shit. This thing fucking sucks balls. I can't believe whoever green-lighted this motherfucker needs to be dragged out into the street and fucking shot.
Yeah, 2 thumbs up. That's the kind of thing that you give when someone passes you a bit of home cooking that you don't want to appear rude. Where it's like, how's the cookies? And you're like, 2 thumbs up. And it's like, actually, you got to spit it out in the bin just after they turn their back.
Exactly. It's going right in the fucking trash can. It's going right in the bin as at the moment that they cut to commercial. It should be like 2 thumbs up right up your ass because this thing is a piece of shit.
Yeah, so all I'm saying is
I
don't
wouldn't
look at
wipe my
reviews.
dick with the film reel.
All right, so do any of you guys watch Westworld? Have any of you watched it before?
I haven't, but it's certainly on my radar.
I have not, but I've had so many people that have given it really good reviews and told me that I really need to watch it, that I'm really missing out. HBO makes a great show to begin with. So.
They do, because they pump money into things. They're like, you know what, we're going to make something, we're going to take a risk on it, and usually it pays off. And I think, Netflix is starting to do that now, aren't they? They're starting to, put a lot of money into programs and things and making some real good hits. But Westworld has stood out for me because it was a thinker. It wasn't one of those, we're going to give you bright explosions and boobs and violence. And, it was a thinker. I'm going back to watch season 1 at the end of this week, I think, and ready for season 2. And I think it needs that. It's one of them, you watch it and you think, what the fuck? Hold on. And then you go back and watch it again and it kind of makes sense, Well, they dropped the season 2 trailer today. And first of all, the music in the background is an orchestra-played version of Nirvana's Heart-Shaped Box. And I was just like...
Oh, wow. I didn't know that.
And I was just like, that just gripped me straight away. This is what they do. The beginning of season 1, it was like a piano. You had all these white skeletal things moving around. You could see all their insides. It was beautiful. And it was piano music. I forget what the song is, but it was beautiful. They're so good at their music. And basically, the park, which is, I think if you remember the original Westworld, they're all robots or androids.
That's right. Yeah. I mean, I know Westworld just from the old TV show from the 60s and 70s.
Yeah.
And that's how I know it. So when I saw that HBO was picking up on it, I was kind of enthused. And I don't know why I didn't pick up on it and watch it. And I'm kind of kicking myself because I've got so many friends that are telling me, dude, you are missing out. This is such a great show. And I should have known that because, they've done Game of Thrones, they've done The Sopranos, and all of their original shows are just fucking amazing when they get into it. And for me, it's not about how much money they're pumping into it. It's just they do the storyline just perfectly.
And this is what I mean. This is, as far as writing goes, it doesn't get much better than this. You kind of, even while you're watching it, you're thinking, "What the fuck's going on?" Like, but in the right way, And so, like, season 2 looks great. Like the parks, I don't want to spoil it. If you guys haven't seen it, it progresses. It progresses in a great way. It's going to carry on with what it did amazingly in the first one. I'm pretty sure of that. So, look out for Westworld season 2. And
I certainly do need to catch up with it. I'll tell you that.
And have you heard about Arnie? Did you hear this news about Arnie?
He's okay. Did you hear what he said?
That he got hospitalized. I didn't hear too much of it.
Yeah, apparently he's had heart surgery, and he came out, and the first word he says was, "I'm back." And that's not even me making a really badly placed joke. Apparently, that's what actually happened. That was the first thing he tweeted or whatever.
I'm glad that he's healthy, and I'm glad that he was able to come out of the surgery. But does he really have to go for the fucking cheese line?
Yes,
he does. He's Arnold Schwarzenegger. Yes, he does.
Okay, I'm staying corrected. Both of you are like, yeah, he fucking does.
Yeah, I went. He's like, I went to the hospital and I was like, "Hasta la vista, baby."
I had not got time for surgery.
The ambulance crew were like,
Chopper. "No, Billy.
Come with me if you want to live." So our thoughts go to Arnie and his family.
You know what? You turned me around. You turned me around on that because now all I want him to do is fucking throw out nothing but catchphrases. From the front doors of the hospital all the way back home, to the point where whoever he's dating at the time, even his chauffeur, is just like, "I swear to God, I will drive us off a fucking cliff if you do not shut the fuck up." "No, you can't do that. We got to get to the chopper." "I swear to God, Arnold, I will fucking kill us both." "No, Billy, my name is not fucking Billy. God damn it. My name is Steven.
My sister's called Sarah Connor."
Sarah Connor.
Oh God. Yeah, I'm glad he's okay.
I don't think I could stomach losing Arnold Schwarzenegger. Like, there's a couple of people, and like you might not get this because I don't know how sort of big it is over there, but David Attenborough, who does like one of our
oh man, I love David.
Yeah,
I love David.
Him,
the Planet Earth series.
It's incredible, right?
That's one of the best nature documentaries I've ever seen. Planet Earth and Planet Earth 2. Those are so amazing. And his voice is like the icing on the fucking cake for those series.
Absolutely. I don't like David Attenborough. Kev Smith was a shocker when the heart attack happened, and then Arnold Schwarzenegger. Like people like that, I don't think I can stomach losing this year because we seem to be losing celebrities all the time. And Arnold Schwarzenegger is just so much of an inspirational guy that.
I would be inclined to agree with you on that. Like when David Bowie died, I cried for 3 days straight when David Bowie died. I mean, I'm dead serious. I was in tears, and it was a friend of mine, a very close friend of mine, that really consoled me. But that he sent me this text about 3 days later saying, you can always grin and be happy that you were alive at a time when David Bowie walked the earth.
Yeah.
And for some reason that just absolutely defined it. It was like, yeah, he's absolutely right. And it just kind of it really brought me back down to earth. But I would be inclined to agree with you that there are certain people, celebrities and musicians and movie stars that just if they left today, you wouldn't know what to fucking say to yourself. People like Lemmy Kilmister when he died from Motorhead. People such as Sylvester Stallone, Arnold Schwarzenegger, people like
when Stephen Hawking
Stan Lee,
the other week
Stephen Hawking
was that was such a shock just to wake up oh wow, you don't think about those things.
Yeah, Stephen Hawking, when that was, I agree with you. That was a big shock for me when he died. If Brian Cox left today, I'd be really upset. I think Brian Cox, him and people such as Stan Lee, Lee Garrett, those people just. They stick with your life, and you want to outlive. You don't want to outlive them.
Yeah,
it's a weird thing to go.
I will say though that there is a certain advantage to Arnie dying.
Whoa!
No, I'm joking. No. I don't want him to make any more Terminator movies. I think I liked Terminator Salvation. I thought it was really good, and.
If Arnold Schwarzenegger died, the least that the coroner could do is come out and say he was terminated.
Wow.
He could give us that kind of decency, because we could at least all of us breathe a sigh of relief, like, okay, that motherfucker gets it.
and you know what? A good point would be that we're going to see a lot more like horrific losses in the world of entertainment, because there was a time like the 60s, 70s mainly where TV became huge. That's when celebrities started becoming. You started seeing a lot more actors, a lot more TV presenters, and a lot more music on TV, things like that. And so we're going to see now a progression of people that we love, be lost.
A wave of people.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And so
I can't. Fuck you, Al. How did you not like Operation Genesis? Jesus Christ, Terminator Genesis.
It was lame as I didn't.
I loved it.
I didn't like Genesis either. I love Emilia Clarke, and I mean, I love to see her face. It's like, you will always be Khaleesi to me.
Yeah.
But a paycheck is just a fucking paycheck sometimes.
I thought they linked it back in, because you go back and watch those. Here's the thing with films like RoboCop, for example. You go back and watch those films. They are some of the worst but amazing films ever. And you get the...
Well, yeah, that's very true. I absolutely love love RoboCop. I love all the RoboCop movies. But at the same time, I'm going into a RoboCop movie knowing that I'm going to watch a fucking RoboCop movie. I was like, okay, I'm not looking for an Oscar award winner.
See, this is the thing.
This is going to be a piece of shit. It's going to be cheesy, but my God, it's going to be fucking irritating.
Yeah, but when I go to watch Terminator, I do the same thing. I do exactly the same. I'm just like, robots shooting people. Arnold Schwarzenegger with catch lines.
You know what? I never associate that. Every time I go see a Terminator, it's like, I hope it's as good as part 2. I come out of it, it's like, it was not as good as part 2.
I think that's what a lot of people do with Star Wars then.
Nobody talked about Terminator 3 though, do they? Nobody ever talks about that.
No.
Oh, fuck that movie.
That's terrible.
Fuck that.
You know what we were doing in the first and second movie? Well, it didn't really matter, because the world's going to end anyway. Bye! That's pretty much what that was.
Yeah. It's like, remember how we gave a shit about the Connor family? Well, we're going to go ahead and just kill one of them off. And then we're going to fill her casket full of fucking guns. And then we're going to send another Terminator to know where the fucking gun cache is. And then we're going to have him protect John Connor, who's so fucking hapless that he gets trapped at a fucking pet mart. At a fucking veterinarian's office. And then we're just going to go ahead and launch all the nukes.
I think
when you read it out like that,
how much of a budget you need?
When you do a script highlight, it actually sounds like a Kev Smith script. Is this going to be like one of those films that gets a cult following, and it's just like, yeah, but for the wrong reasons?
I think they should do that. With just get a serious franchise, really serious franchise, and give it to Kev Smith and see what he can do with it. I think that'd be an amazing experiment to have. Let's do it with Terminator. Fuck it, why not?
Just have
they tried to do that with him to begin with. They tried to do that with him for the Green Hornet, and he said, "Well, I can do a screenplay if you want, but I'm not going to do the. I don't really care to get behind the camera for it."
Yeah.
And that was the closest that they could get to him for when it came to anything sort of. I mean, and they tried to give him the Superman reboot.
Yes, they did, yeah.
And they had what's his name? They had Nicolas
Cage.
Nicolas Cage, yeah, they had Nicolas Cage was supposed to be
I've
playing
come
Superman.
to save you. Oh.
I'm more of an Earth protector.
I'm more of an Earth protector. And okay, what was I going to say? Should we move on? What about Corey Feldman? Have you guys been keeping up with this?
Okay, this is a weird story because I've heard two different stories. I've heard one that he was stabbed multiple times, and then I've heard another story where the sheriff's office over in Los Angeles could not find any stab wounds on him. However, he's still being hospitalized.
Yeah, I've heard that.
So I don't know which ones are. I don't know which one is. Which one of those stories is really to be believed here?
So we spoke about Corey Feldman a while ago, and obviously it's worldwide knowledge that Corey Feldman's a whistleblower for the sexual abuse that's going on in Hollywood. No one believed him, and then all this stuff has come out recently, and with Harvey Weinstein, and now Corey Feldman's like, and he wants to release his book or his movie, whatever the fuck he's gonna do. He's not telling anybody who it was that's meant to have abused him until he releases the book or movie. And so he's come out recently and said that he's been stabbed and it was attempted murder, and everybody's like, "Oh, they're out to get him," But I've read a thing today saying that he's got a clean bill of health. He's not on drugs, but there's no stab wounds, and they reckon if he was stabbed, it was probably with a syringe because it's that small.
Yeah, it's just the fucking chicken from Family Guy with a retractable knife attacking him. Just...
Yeah.
I swear, guys, it happened this way. It's like, no. Yeah, the thing is, like, it's either, like, completely genuine, or when shit like this happens, like, you make the news, I'm gonna sound like an asshole if I'm wrong here, because I've heard the story that he got stabbed, and then hearing that he didn't, it's like, well, it wouldn't come out that there are no stab wounds if there aren't, so instantly my mind jumps to, okay, well, I'm going to kind of unfairly believe that there aren't. It's a fucking good marketing ploy if that's the case, right? Pretend to get fucking attempted murdered.
I have to agree with you, man. I mean, it's one of those things. It's hard to believe him because Corey Feldman is not exactly the guy with the greatest integrity and he's not the kind of guy that you can see and hear from that has the greatest for integrity when it comes to his character.
Yeah,
he can be pretty shady just for the sake of being shady, so that way he can get any kind of notoriety.
I can't take it seriously. All I can hear is Alex laughing and just it's like making a cocktail or something.
Mike's just like, Papa needs some juice. I'm trying to be serious about this B-list celebrity.
It's like,
Daddy needs a margarita.
I'm actually just pouring some tea.
Sit here, us painting you out like some alcoholic at fucking 12 noon.
I thought I could do it quietly, and then it's like, nah, fuck this. Daddy needs a drink.
Gotta give me that juice.
But
I gotta get that juice. I can't be lively on a podcast unless I've had something to drink. Yeah, Daddy needs a fucking cocktail. It's 5:00 somewhere, dickheads.
Awesome. So yeah, sorry to kind of like switch that back at you for a cheap laugh, but yeah, you are right. He's not like the most or he's not viewed in the most credible way. But
Exactly.
I think that at some point, if this wasn't genuine, and he doesn't like in a day's time die of internal bleeding or something, and we're all wrong, then I think that's all going to quickly change, and people are going to start appreciating maybe why people are the way they are.
Could you imagine though if he actually was attacked quite badly, and he's told everyone about it, and nobody believes him? He's like, "What the fuck is wrong with these people? I told them years ago that I was being abused, and they ignored me. Now I've been stabbed to death nearly."
No one believes me.
Wouldn't that be the shit?
The thing is,
and he's like, I told you, motherfuckers, that this was going on, and they tried to silence me. They tried to stab me multiple times, and then the press is like, well, yeah, but look at you.
Can you imagine, like, aliens come down and, like, start talking to Corey, and then he's just like, nah, fuck this. I am not the guy that you want to use as your conduit to talk to humanity. They will not believe me. Just like, son of a bitch.
Corey, you need to get your voice out. Every voice should be heard. Like, no, you don't want me up over on that soapbox.
Well, what I meant to say was he tried to stab me with his penis. That's what happened.
That's why there's no stab wounds. The wounds are all rectal. And, it's hard for me. It's hard for me to talk about it right now without having to clench.
Okay.
Yeah. So, what do you want to move on to?
Well, we've got questions for Jimmy. I've got a few through, and
are these questions for Jimmy or are they questions for Mike?
I didn't get many through. I think because when I sent the message this morning, of course, America was sleeping, and a lot of the Garmys in America, so we haven't had many through. That's totally my bad. So I really apologize for that. But I have got some questions, and like instead of asking Jimmy, I'm going to ask you, Mike. Okay? And these I've got one off a guy called Richard Page, that was sent directly to the Thors-Kin of the Post. Let me have a look for this. And he said, right, if you woke up and had 2,000 unread emails and could only answer 300 of them, how would you choose which ones to answer?
Why is this like an interview?
If I had 2,000 unread emails, man, I'd be a lazy motherfucker at that point. And you know what? I wouldn't choose the other 300. I'd probably just delete all 2,000 of them. Fuck them. If they want me, they can come fucking get me.
Scroll down Pornhub.
Your payment is late.
We can make your dick bigger.
We could, yeah. That's probably what those 2,000 emails are in the first place. Like, Katie God. Big Tits number 229 wants your dick wants to play in a dick sucking contest and thinks that you would be a great judge. It's like, well,
those Instagram bots are fun, aren't they?
I've seen a million of those.
So thanks, Richard, for that question. We've got another one, and this is from our Gray. He's a big fan of the show. He's also active on the Garmy quite a lot, Graham Arnold. And he says he's sent a few. I'm going to pick the best one. Do sheep get static when they rub against one another?
That's an awesome question.
Can you imagine sheep fucking and they're like, oh yeah. Ah!
Like a helium balloon gets stuck to them. Yeah. It's like, well, I know what you've been doing, And then you see that Farmer Arnold is like has got a sheep stuck to him. It's like, well, apparently I know what you've been doing too. You nasty motherfucker. That's an awesome question. I love that. That's fucking awesome, dude. I'm gonna tell you, Graham Arnold, fucking good on you, sir, because I'm gonna be thinking about that for the rest of the fucking day. Those are the kind of questions that I will think about. Those are the kind of things that will eat my brain.
And I'm going to ask you one more as well, just to fuck you up even more.
Alrighty.
This is Afar Gray again, and he put, when lightning strikes the ocean, why don't fish die?
I've wondered that before. I've actually thought that. I remember being in school and I thought about this. Like, how come whenever lightning strikes into the fucking water, I don't see any fish fucking floating up? They just...
And even if it's not the sea, like, I'm sure pretty big lakes that are freshwater and not saltwater get hit by lightning, and you don't see all the fish just rise up.
Oh, I'm certain that salt water gets struck first.
Yeah.
Just because, I mean, the salt I would think would be a good conductor into the water more than just the water itself. So
exactly. So that's
even if it hits a pond, even if lightning strikes a pond, how come you don't see a shitload of fish come floating up? But exactly. A stick of dynamite is all it takes.
Boom.
Yeah.
That's a big boom boom.
Yeah. That's a really good question. I'm going to think about, I swear I'm going to think about those two for a while.
So, well done, Rich, and well done, Graham. Now, look, I completely forgot. I meant to tell a story at the beginning of the podcast. Can I tell this and then we move on to Dickhead of the Week?
Yeah, sure.
Absolutely. Go for it.
Okay, so this week, my buddy Shane, I work at the prison with him. He's done some of the work I do at the prison. And he threw me into a Facebook group for new players. He's just people who plays Call of Duty with. And he's like, play with these guys. They're really funny. So I joined them. They're crazy bunch of lads, but they're really fun. And one of them is called Jamie. He's the loud one of the bunch, but he's really funny. And they were passing back and forward the usual kind of banter that you get with guys. You know, a lot of homoerotic kind of jokes, like, and they were talking about frotting and but you'll have a good frotting and stuff like that. Frotting is kind of it's the sexual act of two penises being rubbed together, right? So that's what I'm letting people know what that is, right? And so, like, they start
in the US, we call it docking.
Docking. I'm open with docking. Anyway, so they would phone, and he thought he'd send a load of pictures just to throw people off and make them feel sick and what have you. But at the same time he was messaging us, he was trying to sell an item on Facebook on like a sales page. And instead of sending the COD guys these loads, like 10 pictures of frotting pictures and gay people touching each other, he sent it to the person he was trying to sell something to. And it was like, and he sent us the picture of it were, and it's a really nice looking Asian family. They're not like, it's not some gruff guy who laugh it off. It's a really, really good looking Asian family that he's just been sending gay erotica to.
Oh my God.
And he spammed. He didn't just send one or two. He spammed the fuck out of their message box with all these pictures.
Oh, brilliant.
With the heading interesting question mark.
Just gets a response back. I am interested in this item.
And we're all trying to play. We're all trying to play Call of Duty. We've all got tears in our eyes. This guy's like, "I'm going to be put on the fucking register now." It's so funny. I've messaged him since, and I think it's all blown over. But how mortified would you be to have that happen to you? So
oh
bad.
Man, that's funny as shit. My thing is that at that point you should have just deleted the fucking pictures in the fucking.
Oh, he tried.
The fact that you keep it that you keep those pictures around. I mean, you just invited yourself to that kind of trouble at that point. Like, I'm sorry, sir, but you have no excuses. And if you think that you're going to make the registry, you have no idea. We've already started. We put your face up over on the fucking billboard, sir.
Could you imagine if it did end up going to, if he got reprimanded or something, you'd be like, like literally split second of stupidness, like ends your life. It was. I just want to say thank you because that made me laugh so much. So cheers for that, Jamie. And I hope it all blew over. And he did try to delete the pictures, but it deletes at one end, but not the other. So
Oh man, I feel for him. You poor bastard. But holy shit, what a story!
Yeah, that was funny. That was funny.
Fucking amazing.
Right. Okay. Moving on, we're going to quickly go through Dickhead of the Week because I've got quite a few. I'll call it Dickhead of the Week Rampage because
Cool, I've got one of my own.
There's so many fucking idiots out there at the moment that it's just filling up. Dickhead of the Week is like it's too much, man, too much. Mike, I'm going to be a gentleman and let you go first. Have you got someone you want to rant about today?
It's a dude over in Florida, actually. And the heading on the story is Florida man who is a student arrested after beating a child with a Pop-Tart. I wish I was making it up, but guys, this is from the States. So it's definitely true and blue.
Beat a child with a Pop-Tart. Okay, so
yeah.
What is the story then? Was he messing around and someone?
No. Deputies said that Kayvon Buckland, who is 18, caused intentional physical harm to a child of about 15. According to the report, Buckland punched the female child in the left hip and in the face, leaving a bruise by using a Pop-Tart snack.
How do you punch someone with a Pop-Tart? Like,
I would imagine that you're holding it there in the palm of your hand and then you're mushing it into their face.
Like, that thing where in school you go, hey, if your hand's bigger than your face, you've got cancer, and then you punch them in your fucking hand. Just like, is that what they did? Because I'm pretty sure, like, you can't intentionally hurt someone with a Pop-Tart. That's an oxymoron in and of itself. Like,
I could just imagine him going, well, technically, I didn't hit the child. I didn't even touch the child. The Pop-Tart did.
The Pop-Tart did, yeah.
Can you imagine?
The bullet kills the kid.
People don't punch people. Pop-Tarts kill people.
It says deputies say Buckland then smashed a Pop-Tart in the victim's face and hair. When the girl tried to walk away from Buckland, he grabbed her by the hair and smacked her in the face. So he was arrested on charges of cruelty to a child. And abuse.
I thought you were going to say cruelty to Pop-Tarts then.
Oh, that would be fucking fantastic. We don't care what you did to the kid.
I think
but a snack treat is strawberries, sir, and that is to be taken shit seriously. And we're not doing that shit.
I'm being fucking serious right now, and I'm telling you right now that Florida needs to crack down on their Pop-Tart rules because Pop-Tarts are
goddamn right.
We need to regulate this, motherfucker.
You wouldn't get away with that shit in Oklahoma. I'll tell you that.
Pop-Tarts are like lava when they're through a microwave. What the fuck?
That shit doesn't fly in Tulsa.
I think what we need to do is give all of the microwave Pop-Tarts so that the microwaves have got Pop-Tarts to protect themselves from the other Pop-Tarts. So that people don't get their mouths burnt.
Oh wow.
Anyway, before we get too far down that rabbit hole.
Mad Mike Hughes. Oh, Mad Mike Hughes. Do you remember we talked about this a couple of weeks ago? The guy who built himself a steam-powered rocket to prove that the Earth was flat.
Oh, shit! Yeah, and he lost his fucking shirt.
This fucking guy, honestly. Number one, I am being serious right now, is the guy shouldn't have walked away from that crash. We don't need fuckers like him in the gene pool. I'm sorry.
I was waiting for him to be a Darwin Award winner of the highest honor at that point. I was reading through the story and I was like, okay, he got airtime for about 4 fucking seconds. I was like, oh man, did he die? No, he lived. God damn, that means he's going to try it again.
Do you know what? I find myself watching shit like that, though, so intently that I lean into the screen and I turn the volume up, and I'm just like, before long, I find myself rooting for the dumb fucker. I'm there just like, you get up there and you show us that the world is fucking flat. And then I'm just like, hang on a minute, this is how the fucking humanity fails. It's like fucking YouTube and this.
That Elon Musk did the exact same thing a few weeks ago and proved with a Tesla car that it's fucking very fucking round. So I think.
Oh yeah, I mean, that guy was a dipshit.
Yeah.
I could not. I was rooting. I'm just like Jimmy. I was rooting for the guy, but I was rooting for him to fucking die. I was like, I cannot. I want to see this motherfucker's demise on screen, and that's the whole reason I tuned in. It was like everybody gather around. You're about to see an idiot in action.
I wanted his rocket to fly into the Westboro Baptist Church.
Oh, wouldn't that be? Oh, the irony on that shit. Oh, dude, you could drizzle that shit on pancakes because that would have been fucking magical.
Okay. Have you got one, Jimmy?
Yeah, so there's been a legacy going on for like a couple of years now that I'm glad is finally over so that it could be something of history. Lindsay Lohan has finally lost her court case with Rockstar. The fact that she is not the cover girl of the case on Rockstar on GTA 5. Like,
this story was ridiculous. Lindsay Lohan, why don't you come
to your senses?
That's a bit of Hollywood Babble-On. Lindsay Lohan, what a cunt, right?
She is. Like, just get over yourself. You had one semi-successful movie, or a couple, with like Mean Girls and Parent Trap. Like, that's it. No one cares anymore. Sorry,
and
but
that was
one of those
probably
people.
Disney going, "Come here, little girl, I'll look after you." You know, that's Disney looking after Lindsay Lohan. No.
Thanks for clarifying what that was just then, Al.
That was creepy.
It was meant to be.
Hey, little girl.
Come and play with me. You want to see
You
Mickey
ever
Mouse?
slept on a futon mattress in an empty van?
Oh god! Well, a skinny girl, blonde hair, glasses, sunglasses, leaning over a car. That's fucking. That's America, right? That's the American dream right there.
I mean, if you're a prostitute, really, the American dream is just to have the. No, the American dream is the next door neighbor with the big tits. That's the American dream, right there. I mean, for guys at least. I mean,
what I'm pointing at is
amazing.
it's a generic thing. It's a generic thing. Like everybody, not everyone. I'm not into blondes personally. That's why I'm with a fucking Colombian. But I don't do skinny blondes. But it's like it's quite a popular notion that a skinny blonde is quite attractive, and that's what they're gonna draw and put on a cover of a fucking video game where you can run over hookers and shit. So what is wrong?
Well, that was pretty stupid on her part to begin with, because first of all, she's not a blonde. She's a redhead naturally.
Yeah.
She's a natural redhead, and what they had was a fucking blonde chick with a bikini. I mean, has she never stepped her foot outside of Los Angeles fucking before? Because all she has to do, you go to Los Angeles and throw a rock, and you will hit some skinny blonde chick with big tits. That is all Los Angeles is made of. Is nothing but skinny chicks eating kale with bikinis and big tits, and that
Sounds
is
great.
all they are. It's a magical land, but a few of them are strippers, and some are prostitutes, and like just a handful are pretty much like waitresses that are just waiting for their big break in Hollywood. It's like, I'm sorry, sweetheart, but the next time that you're getting any kind of airtime or any kind of camera time, you're gonna have some dude fucking you.
And that, I love you, Mike. Like I said, words of silk. Lindsay Lohan, fuck off, go away, don't ever come, and don't ever talk about fucking Batgirl ever again, because I'm sorry, I'm coming around your fucking house if you do.
Yeah, I can imagine if someone else gets the role as Batgirl and she tries to sue DC, it's like, you used my likeness for Batgirl. I reckon what we should do is...
I was entertaining a group of friends, and, I was wearing this nice, skimpy, tight latex outfit, and now I'm suing DC because they took my likeness when they were running a train on me.
I reckon in the new Batman film, I reckon what they should do is they should have the Oracle in it. We should hire whoever fake stabbed Corey Feldman to go and kneecap Lindsay Lohan and go, "Oh, we've got a role for you now. Fucking disabled bitch."
Yeah. Oh. So, is anybody prepared to have a Chinese space station fall on your head? Because that's apparently what's going to happen this weekend.
I heard about that. I want to. Not to backtrack or anything, but the dipshit that was making a steam powered rocket to show that the Earth was flat. I wanted to touch up on that there's actually a guy that already proved that the Earth was circular back in 1982, and his name is Larry Walters. Larry Walters is not very well known now because about 15 years later he wound up killing himself. But back in 1982, he put himself up on a lawn chair and launched up about 42 helium balloons of weather balloons and launched himself about 15,000 feet up above Los Angeles.
Oh my God.
This is a real fucking story. This is a true story. I'm not kidding. This is he was considered the prototype for the Darwin Awards.
Wow.
And he did not die. He didn't die. He actually had a BB gun, a CB radio, some sandwiches, a 2-liter bottle of Coca-Cola. I'm not kidding.
It sounds like you're listing off like you're starting inventory in one of the Fallout games.
You would think this dude, trust me, if you were here in the States, if you guys were here in the States, you would think this dude was from fucking Alabama. Because this is such a stupid story from such an idiot that you wouldn't think that this kind of stupidity would come from Los Angeles. But he was from LA, and his girlfriend helped to fund this project. And he made all of these helium balloons. He filled up all these weather balloons with helium, sat in this lawn chair. He buckled himself in, and a friend of his cut one of the cables. And after he cut one of the cables, the other cable just lifted up out without any kind of help. And he floated up about 15,000 fucking feet.
Oh my God.
And it took authorities about 4 hours to get him down because he no, I know, it sounds so stupid. But he shot himself. He shot like about 4 balloons, and then he dropped the fucking gun.
Oh my God. Well, this is how I die.
Yeah. And he just floated. He stayed up above for about 4 hours or so.
About halfway through though.
And some reason, apparently 4 balloons was all he needed to shoot down, and he came back down to Earth safely. And he got arrested.
Halfway through, he'd have just been like, I bet all you fuckers are like not laughing at me now that I bought a packed lunch. Took the fucking sandwiches. It's like, I'm full.
He actually told the papers, he told the media, it's like they were asking him, like, why did you do that? Why would you do something so stupid? And he says, I felt like it was something that I needed to have done. It had to be done. And so, but the kicker is that they tried to charge him, but the FAA could not think of a charge to bring upon him. So they tried to fine him, and I think they tried to fine him like $15,000 or something. But when they couldn't find a real, true hard charge to reason with, they just wound up fining him like $2,300. Or something like that. And he got on all these talk shows and stuff like that. It was maniacal about the things that he did. I have heard this story so many times that it's just something of like, it's one of those where like, how come you guys have not made a movie about this?
And then he gets because some fucking idiot ties himself to a fucking steam powered rocket. Something as simple as just setting off balloons. Why didn't he do that? Like if it's like local knowledge, why don't you just be like, I'm going to do what the balloon guy did? And I just have this image of an F-14 Tomcat back in the day, just like some jet, just being like, base, I've got a bogey right here. And like,
that's the kicker. That's another one, is that there were 2 commercial airliners because he was near LAX. He was near the Los Angeles airport. and he was right there. And two commercial airliners that were coming in for their final approach wound up radioing the tower. It's like, you're not going to believe this shit.
There's a guy having a packed lunch, floating up like the man out of Up.
We've got a guy that's up over on the lawn chair, and he's being floated by a ton of balloons and shit like that. Are you wanting to report a UFO? No. I understand what the fucking object is. It's a guy in a fucking lawn chair, and he's being floated by a bunch of weather balloons.
I just imagine if he hit the fucking plane, and he's just like, while he's eating his fucking sandwich. All right, guys.
Some dude there's some passengers like, there's a man on the wing of the plane. It's like, we've seen that episode of Twilight Zone, asshole. Like, no, there's a man on the wing of the fucking plane.
Oh yeah, I guess he's just eating his packed lunch, sitting on a chair on the wing of the plane, is he? Just like, yeah, mum, he is.
Oh, guys, that was really good. Look, I've got like 4 other stories to go through. I'm not going to go through them because I think that's a really good way to end the show. It was such a great story, actually.
Yeah.
So I'm glad you told it. So
should we wrap up there? Do you think?
Yeah, let's not just end like that. Like, bye. Let's have a chat. Like, and say, like, Mike, you've been a great guest, and I definitely want to have you on again. You've been fantastic, and thank you very much for taking time out to be with us.
Oh, thanks for having me, man. I've had a lot of fun.
Yeah, you've been awesome, and I want to say a lot of love to the Garmy guys. I want to say thank you to Ralph Garman as well, and to Kev Smith for bringing everyone together, and for you as well, doing such a good job with the Garmy. Because if it wasn't for them, I think I would have been in a lot worse place. I mean, I remember I had a friend round for a few whiskeys, and he was like, "Well, you fed up at work? Have you not tried podcasts?" And I was like, "Fuck podcasts, fuck off!" Like, and he's like, "You like Kev Smith? Try this, this," and that's where my life changed. And here I am doing my own podcast, and I want to say thank you to Ralph and Kev for that, and for you. I've already just said that, but I'm so emotional. I get emotional about it, man. It means a lot to me. So I've made a really good friend, and things are looking good for the future. And we've got ideas, haven't we? We don't want to discuss about it too much, but I don't know. Do you want to discuss, Mike? Should we discuss?
Keep everything. Anything that's like all of that. We'll get to it. We'll get to it when it's all actual stuff to show for it.
If you guys need to keep it quiet, I would keep it quiet.
Yeah. We've got ideas.
You need to.
We've got ideas, and keep it appeal because once they progress, we'll let you know. And thank you very, very much. And
yeah, it's been awesome hanging out and having a chat with you. So yeah, I'll definitely sort of hop into the page and sort of
I'll invite you in right now.
Yeah, like what I said at the start of the show, is that if you could be part of the community for each little thing that you do enjoy in life, just in general, then always go out and do that. Meet some like-minded people. And yeah, thanks for coming on.
Brilliant. Thank you very much. And we're going to try and... Oh, excuse me. I keep burping. Do that monster. We're going to get Eric Pfluger on the show soon. That'll be a great show too. And we're gonna keep in touch with the Garmy. And as well, also, quickly before we go, I keep putting my polls up for the superhero bar fight on the Garmy. And it's not really it's not Garmy related. And I just want to say thank you for, everyone with their patience for that and helping me out with it, because that's great. So on that note...